I'm being totally honest here, this 5th box, this one might just be the best one yet. May I take a peek at these ahead of time just to get an idea of what I might need to discuss? And right at the top, there's some clear heavyweights. Anyways, I should probably get on with the introduction, right? Greetings, interested character, I am Maximus Overdrive, and I welcome you to the 5th week of the 2nd wave of the Commonwealth collection. For those of you who haven't seen any of the previous unboxings or are completely new to the channel, this is the playlist for you. That's where I establish what exactly is going on here, because it's certainly a long story. For my returning viewers, the contents of whatever emerges from this box will be making their way to my eBay and Amazon shops this Saturday, August 5th at 8:30 AM Eastern Standard Time. We'll quickly take a look at each item one by one to showcase what exactly will be up for grabs. So let's find out, shall we? Ah yes, the always satisfying ASMR box cutting. It's a personal specialty of mine. Finish opening up all the flaps here, and of course become acquainted with yet another plastic bag, and once again these will all be available after the conclusion of the final unboxing. If you're a psychopath like I am.
You just have to say that you're fine.
Just as a PSA, I do not endorse the psychopath lifestyle. And we start with a Kurt Adler Angry Birds Christmas stocking. Seen 2 of these already. Here is the 3rd. There seems to be a lot of red at the top here. The question is it interesting red or is it boring red, as the case may be? Here is a 6-inch Winter Bomb, who happens to have a red hat, very fitting. Here are 2 red character flags, which we've seen a couple of so far. These are the 28-inch by 42-inch ones. Now these things are actually kind of neat, because even if you remove them from the packaging, they still have a tag on them, so you don't have to feel completely ashamed. Though you should. Shame on you if you remove tags and packaging. They look so much better with them. Like this 6-inch Minion Pig, who is a 2nd generation new with tags. Here is an Angry Birds Go Bomb, which actually appears to be an earlier sample. He's based on the touch tag, which makes no reference to Angry Birds whatsoever, though otherwise it appears to be identical to the prototype we all know, including the very perplexing wick atop. Right next to him was a 5-inch Han Solo from Good Stuff Toys. Here is an 8-inch Santa Red, a Season's Greetings variation. Season's Greetings, Wreck the Winter Wonderland Halls, I guess it's up to you which tag you prefer. Now this may just look like any old 8-inch red, right? But of course the twist is, it is a 9-inch development sample. So this one actually is more like the ones that we looked at in Wave 1 though, since it is a 1st generation from Fantastic Toys Manufacturing submission sample. So a bit different than the 9-inch ones we've looked at in Wave 2. Here is a 5-inch Qui-Gon Jinn, and this is the first time you're seeing this smaller variation of the Star Wars 2 side tag. So obviously in the last unboxing in a Toy Fair 2014, there was the larger side tag for the 8-inch plushies, so this might have been the one they were considering for the 5-inch ones. Now let's not get too ahead of ourselves though, because this does use a generic Commonwealth touch tag, meaning it is likely an earlier sample, so maybe this was just a placeholder, and for production they would have made it larger. For those of you who collected Wave 1, you're probably aware that the tags were a little oversized for the 5-inch characters, like this Princess Leia here. The tags are far less prohibitive on, say, a classic or a Seasons plush like this 5-inch Wizard Chuck. Here is a red deluxe novelty hat, which we saw in the very first unboxing of Wave 2, so if you'd like a demonstration of this item, please refer to that video. A lot of people were theorizing about the UFO sample I showed 2 unboxings ago. You know, might it be an early space sample, Invasion of the Egg Snatchers, or simply a character we just haven't seen before? Well, I welcome you to explain this one. What on earth is this thing? I mean, it's clearly some kind of bird on a plane, right? But what does it mean? And more importantly, what is it from? I can't seem to figure it out. Now, once again, it has paper details up front. It's got 2 2nd generation touch tags, which leads me to believe it is some kind of sample from 2011, but these could simply be placeholders and they might be completely meaningless. The character itself kind of reminds me of a cage bird, with these wings on the side and the little feet on the bottom. I mean, it's clearly supposed to resemble an angry bird. It's got slanted eyebrows and kind of that circular shape that they all have, that pointed beak. I just can't seem to figure this one out. I don't know what to make of it, but certainly a super cool sample. Here is a 5-inch Angry Birds Go King Pig, a character that sold instantly last time. You know who you are. This one happens to be new with tags, so that's obviously nice to see. This is clearly one of the most desirable samples because it's really one of the only plushies that Commonwealth made that's truly Toons authentic. give you a little 360. So you get that beautifully shaped snout up front, the little tail run back, embroidered details all over him, including on his ornate crown for the jewels. I mean, it's just perfect if I'm being honest. Clearly one of, if not the best plushies from the Go set. Here is one of the cancelled Star Wars vehicles, and bizarrely it is an X-Wing fighter. I've always loved the Angry Birds design for this thing because it uses slingshots for the wings. Always thought that was a clever detail. I love the printing on this thing, and it almost looks like you could fit really tiny Angry Bird plushies in here. Right up there and right down here. So maybe they were going to make really tiny Star Wars plushies, or they were going to upscale these so you could fit 5-inch characters inside a jumbo. Now that would be pretty neat. Now you're probably wondering, what's in this plastic bag? Let's go ahead and find out. Makes sense to put these in plastic bags because first of all, we have a cowboy hat pig from the accessorized pig set. New with tags, obviously. A little 360 for you. He's in perfect condition, by the way, must say. Don't have to worry about the sun fading with his eyes. And we have Cowboy Red, or the Hammam High Red as people have dubbed him. How about that? Use the exact same cowboy hat that Cowboy Hat Pig does, obviously, just repurposed and thrown onto red. I have no idea when these samples come from. You can kind of get an idea with a tush tag. They are 2nd generation tush tags, copyright date 2010. So I'd have to assume these were probably co-developed with the accessorized pigs, or if nothing else, these came a little bit after the accessorized pigs were finalized, specifically Cowboy Hat Pig. Now, I don't want to reveal too much about these because these will have their own dedicated documentary in due time, but a lot of people have been asking me about them because they've been in the shot for all these unboxing videos, and now you'll have the chance to acquire one. So how about that? That's super special. Now, of course, that begs the question, are there other accessorized Angry Birds? Here's a 5-inch Trick or Treat pumpkin hat pig, new with tags. Is there a Chef Blue or a Postman Chuck or even a Construction Hat Bomb? As of right now, I don't know. Here is a 5-inch Princess Leia retail variation. Here is a 4-inch mini Chuck, 1st generation. These are all things that we're eventually going to find out, so no need to be impatient. Here's a 4-inch mini Red, also 1st generation. We have 3 of the 4 5-inch Trick or Treat plushies because here's a Frankenstein Bomb. No Devil Red so far, though we're pretty much guaranteed to see one of those, right? Now here's a bag full of treasures. This appears to be a bunch of these early keychain samples. So looks like a bunch of reds to me, but I think there's a few in here that we haven't seen yet. This goes to show you how many of these samples they actually make. Here is a bomb keychain. So obviously orange beak, gray underbelly, and spot. Those are what stand out, right? Well, he has an itty-bitty-witty tail round back. So if you didn't know, a lot of the early bomb samples actually had this little one tail feather back here. I guess they just assumed he had one, and this is what they gave him. His tag is actually attached to that little tail. 9/25/2010, just like the others. So how about that? This to me is probably the most interesting keychain sample. So obviously these use the early placeholder colors, and here is another example of that. Here is the keychain Matilda. And it's not dirty. The color they used was literally just gray. Some other color differences on her as well, but that's pretty interesting to see as well. Really makes the orange beak pop. Now in the bottom of this bag, I think I see what appears to be some kind of 2-dimensional red plush. It's just got an embroidered face. 2nd generation tush tag. Not exactly sure what to make of this, but it kind of reminds me of a vibrating pillow sample that they made, which I'll show eventually. Scratch this one off the bingo card because we have a ceramic Christmas ornament, the wreath variant with 3 birds dangling. Here is a regular red Christmas stocking, not to be confused with the Kurt Adler variant. The way you can tell this one apart is the lack of a king pig at the boot. The Angry Birds logo right here will just be the original logo. It'll also be embroidered, and red will not wear a Santa hat. This one also feels a bit higher quality to me. He still has the tissue paper on him too, so this one is extremely mint. Here is a 5-inch Lando Calrissian plush, the initial prototype to be exact. So the way you can tell this one apart from the one we all know is the more game-accurate blue on his clothes. Also, his hairdo is a little bit different, and his mustache is actually positioned on his beak. Though otherwise, all the details are largely negligible. I do appreciate how he's giving you a bit of a grin. I always thought that was pretty cheeky. This is definitely a character that should have been included in Wave 2. Here is an 8-inch monster Terrence. It appears that he has a sound chip, so let's see if it works. Huh? Kinda works. a little blip on the radar. Here's our first sample of the regular novelty hat variety. It is an Angry Birds Space Laser Chuck. The only Chuck novelty hat that Commonwealth ever made, I guess. So keep in mind, this is not a deluxe novelty hat with the longer legs and pockets for your hands. This one appears to be a little bit dirty. Doubt that'll be a deal breaker, but just wanted to make note of it. Put this thing on. It's a 3rd generation with the black tags. Oh yeah. The space characters were always brilliantly designed, and obviously Chuck is no exception. The lavender on this guy is great. I do wish it was a bit more triangular, but what can you do? Let's check out the tag. So it says Space Purple AB hat, dated 3/16/2012. So only 6 days before the game itself came out. There's that. Here is a new in-box Angry Birds bot bag. It is a 4th generation variation. What I'm noticing, HK105, that's a factory I've yet to see. Here's another one of these weird backpack clip samples. We saw a Minion Pig similar to this in a previous unboxing. This is a bomb with just a black loop up top. It's not as stretchy as the pigs. And this guy is also a 4th gen. Here is a box of something. Let me figure out what this thing is. Quantity 6 says sets. Barcode says inner pack Christmas decorations, so you'll have to check the eBay shop for these. Here's another box of something, but this one actually appears to be labeled. This one says Angry Birds 4-pack magnets with header card. 12 pieces, about 1.5 pounds. So this is what a Commonwealth assorted box would look like. So this is what they would ship to retailers. So it says toys with a purple banner. How about that? Sealed box. We still got a bunch more to go, just a bunch of 8-inch ones from what I can see. Here's an Angry Birds Star Wars Wave 2 Yoda. Now those with a keen eye might be able to tell this one looks a little bit different. Look at the eyes and look at his beak. Is this potentially a Yoda sample? Perhaps. And next to him was another Yoda, but not just any Yoda, a Tesco Yoda. And not just any Tesco Yoda, but like the Han Solo we looked at last time, he has one of these factory sample tags. So what does this one say? It says, Yoda, no foam inside the ear. White PV hair around ear changed to only the top, not around the ear. Remove the skirt in one piece, not two. Cancel the sewing edges on the shirt. So, clearly, more cost cutting at play. So here are some ornaments that you can actually see because they're bundled in a collectible 4-pack. Kind of like the 4-inch mini plushies. So what do we got here? We got red, blue, Minion Pig, and Bomb. They're basically the collectible figurines, but ornaments, I guess. Here is an Angry Birds Go Terrence, this one using his merchandise-specific design, so the blue hat and opaque black shades. I think you get the gist at this point. He is new with tags. And I always found it funny how this one lacked the embroidered spots like the original. Don't know why they didn't include those. Here's a nice surprise. Happy Easter, I guess. We have a full set of these 2nd generation Easter eggs plushies. Of course, these have the bendable wires in the ears, so these are the superior release. So let's see them all real quick. Here is Blue, here is Chuck, and here is the pig to finish off the set. This one looks especially fluffy to me. Here is another Angry Birds Go Bomb. This time he is an 8-inch. He is new with tags. Here is a miniature Christmas stocking, this one with the red on the front. Here is another bubble wrap Christmas ornament. This one I think is one of those Santa winter reds. The last two of this box are both representations of Matilda. Here is a 10-inch size development sample. So, here's your tag for proof. See, it just says 10-inch, doesn't say anything else. This one happens to be a 1st generation too, so probably one of the earlier size development samples. And the last plush of this entire box is this darker silver C-3PO. There is a lighter version as well, but I think these are made in equal numbers. This one has the Toy Fair 2014 side tag. There's the front and back for you. It is essentially just a reskin of the regular C-3PO plush, but I think it was done tastefully, and basically this is all they need to do. There's the back, and there's the front. And so, that'll do it for today's unboxing. If you have any comments, questions, or complaints, you can let me know in the comment section below. With that I say, peace out.